Shalom Akim. First and foremost, to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, B'Shem Echad Kudash. Double honors under the elders of Apostle Great Millstone, the elders Great Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect, the sincere servants of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, serve him in truth and sincerity. Yes, on by the Chayaba from GMS Plaintables camp, coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. Yeah, so this lesson be based off of what the bitter herbs. As we know, of course, we are in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Of course, Passover was Thursday sundown, and it's 7 days on to Thursday sundown, the next Thursday sundown. Well, during, of course, the Passover, we have the ceremony. And, of course, we rehearse the righteous acts, do the best as we can. But of course, after the Passover, then we're already in the Feast of Unleavened Bread, meaning we eat unleavened bread for the whole week. Not only unleavened bread, but we eat bitter herbs. And why do we eat bitter herbs? Because of course we know right now in Israel you have pretty much people saying how they don't want to eat the bitter herbs. They want to eat romaine lettuce instead, and they want to eat things that are sweeter and really aren't bitter. They want to eat the things that are sweet. Actual leaders within Israel, not part of Great Millstone or the affiliate camps, but the people who claim themselves to be Israelites. To read this real quick, it says, Exodus chapter 12 and 8, and it says, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Yeah, and of course, Exodus chapter 12 going into the Passover, how we keep it. Yeah, the flesh is, of course, the lamb, roast with fire, by the way, unseasoned. And it says, and unleavened bread, meaning bread without leaven, yeast or any leavening agents. We're only permitted to eat unleavened foods, during this week. It says, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. And what are bitter herbs? Bitter herbs such as horseradish root, ginger root, so on and so forth. You can get of course, a bigger list of, the bitter herbs that you can eat, but the main bitter herb that we eat, that brothers eat, of course, is a horseradish, which is very, very bitter. It's really hot. But that's the point. And why do we eat the bitter herbs? Let's go real quick to Exodus chapter 1 and 13. We can start verse 10. It says, come on, let us deal wisely with them. Or let's start at verse 9. It says, and he said unto his people, behold, it says, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. It says, come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. It says, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and it says Ramses, which of course those treasure cities were the pyramids. It says, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. It says, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All the service wherein they made them to serve was with rigor. Exactly. So ultimately, us being in Egypt, us serving a hard bondage. Okay, yes, pretty much us eating those bitter herbs is, even now, onto this day, eating those bitter herbs is pretty much in remembrance of the hard bondage that we had in ancient Egypt, under the Egyptians, under the ancient Egyptians, when, you know, we were serving hard bondage at the time. We were serving the Egyptians with rigor. And during, of course, the Passover, we didn't have access to all these nice foods and, of course, we had to eat it quick because you already know the Lord's about to pass over Egypt. Passover meaning, hey, if you weren't pretty much marked for exemption, hey, that death angel would take you out. Or pretty much you can go into, says verse 29, and it came to pass that at midnight the Lord Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the cattle. So the Lord killed the firstborn, Pharaoh of the cattle. So the point is that the Lord Yahweh by Shai did a lot of killing. It says, verse 27, going up, that ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children, or passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped. See? So the Lord smote the Egyptians. So first, not to be a part of that judgment. Again, us Israelites, we had to keep the Passover. But that's what the bitter herbs is symbolic onto, the bitterness and captivity and slavery, hard bondage that we had under Egypt. Now, nowadays, we are in the new modern day Egypt. Serving, within bitterness once again. So the way we keep the Passover is going to be the same way, or of course, we rehearse righteous acts, so we seek to keep it to the best of our ability. We can't keep it 100% fully. We can't get a whole lamb that's without blemish. Most brothers have to go to the market, the supermarket, but the point is that, again, we rehearse the righteous acts and we keep it to the best of our ability. So we are in the modern day Egypt. Of course, it says, so you already know America goes back onto Amerigo Vespucci, pretty much one of the Italian explorers. It says, yes, the continent of America is named after the Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci, specifically by German cartographer Martin, it says, Wald-Semuller in 1507, who labeled the new continent America in Vespucci's honor. Which, when you get the word for Amerigo, which they do try to hide, they do hide it. You can try to find the etymology of Amerigo and they hide it. But again, he's Italian, so when you really go back onto what Amerigo means within the Italian, it goes back onto the word amargo, which, what does amargo mean? You can look it up. It says the Spanish word amargo means bitter. Which same meaning Italian or Spanish. It says amargo in Italian translates to bitter, and amaro refers to a category of bittersweet. The point is that it means bitter, amargo, and amaro in Italian. So amargo in Spanish and amaro in Italian both mean bitter. And that's what his name goes back onto. So America means bitter. So we're in Egypt once again, serving hard bondage. Of course, we went through shadow slavery. So-called Native Americans, Latinos got overtaken. Pretty much the bulk of them in 1492. So-called blacks, the Southern Kingdom, so-called Native Americans, Latinos are the Northern Kingdom, so-called blacks or the Southern Kingdom. Well, of course, they got brought over from West Africa. They were in West Africa because they fled from the Roman captivity in 70 AD. Or Slovakia, the Roman persecution in 70 AD. So that's why you found our people in West Africa, because they were fleeing pretty much from that region during the Roman persecution. But yeah, 1619 got brought over as slaves. And we've been in America serving hard bondage. And you had the transatlantic slave trade, so we got sent around the whole world. But you're gonna find that the main majority of our people grouped up here in America. And we're still serving bondage unto this day. Now it's just a different type of bondage. Not only are we corporate slaves, we're slaves under the system. Well, it's slavery against your mind, which we escaped of that. Of course, because we have this wisdom knowledge, we have the true wisdom knowledge and understanding. But the point is what? Now it's a captivity against your mind and your spirit. That's what Esau wants to get. So it says, Jeremiah chapter 50 and 21. Or 20, it says, in those days and at that time, said the Lord Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none in the sins of Judah, they shall not be found. For I will pardon them whom I reserved. Yeah, but it's going to be the elect. The Lord's going to reserve the elect. And their sins will be covered by the blood of Yahushai. So it says, verse 21, go up against the land of Marathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Akkad, waste and utterly destroy after them, saith the Lord Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. Yeah, and what is Marathaim and what is Akkad? Of course, that goes into Babylon the Great. When you read the chapter, it's literally going into Babylon the Great, which Babylon the Great. The Babylon here in Jeremiah chapter 50, Jeremiah chapter 49, Jeremiah chapter 51, they all go into the modern day Babylon, which is America. Getting that word for Marathaim in the Hebrew is Marathium, which means double rebellion. Or really more accurate, it says in Strong's definition, double bitterness. So Egypt was known for its bitterness. Well, this place is known for double bitterness unto our people. And it's gonna get, and we're catching hell, but Esau, what's about to come very, very soon. And America is about to be the worst thing that that's ever been witnessed, man, of all time. With all the different plagues and trials and tribulations that Yahweh Shai has set up. This place is going to be known as the worst of all time. It says, and against the inhabitants of Akkad. Read that word for Akkad within the Hebrew. Hebrew word is Pakwawad, which means visitation. Because the Lord's coming back to visit this place. Just like how he visited Egypt. The Lord's coming back to visit America. But this time, Yahushua is coming back in his perfection, in his glory. So all eyes can see him. And he's coming back to destroy. To deliver his elect and to destroy. The 2/3 of our people, 2/3 of Israelites in America. And the heathen. Also, he's coming back to conquer the world. He's coming back to take down these other nations. Put them in slavery and in servitude under us, the Israelites, because he's setting back up the Israelites to rule and to have power over the earth. Of course, under the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. In Revelation chapter 11 and 8, it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom of Egypt, meaning, of course, we will become spiritually dead. Meaning, of course, we will lose the truth. We will lose our heritage, lose who we are. So it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street, the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom, Egypt, meaning, again, we lost the truth. But the Lord has revived us once again with this truth. Wisdom, knowledge, or understanding, starting with, of course, Abba Bivens, which is John the Baptist and reincarnation. It says, which spiritually is called Sodom, Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Yes, so there you have it. Yeah, and it says where also our Lord was crucified because, of course, the image of our Lord was etched out here. The image of Jesus Christ was pushed heavily, which is a so-called white man. Ultimately going back on this Rapis Christus, or Christus. But his image was heavily pushed here, and Esau wanted to X out the image of the Messiah, which is a so-called black man with white woolly hair, austere look, bronze, or skin as a bronze burn in the furnace, meaning very, very dark skin. Yeah, it says where spiritually it's called Sodom and Egypt. So yeah, that place, that great city, of course, which is when you go into this chapter, is obviously speaking about Babylon Great. Where spiritually it's called Sodom and Egypt, because this place, Sodom was known for, of course, the sexual immorality, the sodomy and all that, which is heavily pushed here in America. You have the alphabet community. And Egypt, because the place is known for its bondage, the slavery that has given onto the so-called Black Native Americans, Latinos, and also even onto this day. That's why Babylon Great has those terms. It's called spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So yeah, we are in the new Sodom. We are in the new Egypt. So yeah, we're still eating bitter herbs because, again, that's in remembrance of the bondage that we served in Egypt. And even onto this day, we're still in bondage, man. So we're still eating those bitter herbs. So yeah, I believe that's the point, just going to pretty much the significance of the bitter herbs, what they mean. And hey, any Israelite who doesn't want to partake of it, ultimately what? They're showing themselves to not be a part pretty much of course, a part of the Lord's remnant. Of course, we don't know if we're part of, nobody knows if they're part of the remnant. But hey, at the end of the day, the remnant are predestined to do the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai as best as they can, which bitter herbs is 100% doable, and there's no excuse not to do it. And if you're in the right spirit, then you're going to do it. You're going to eat of the bitter herbs because you're going to understand its significance. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai will give the servants, of course, with the eye salve, the ears to hear, and the eyes to see, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, to understand simple things just like this. But for the ones who aren't chosen, for the ones who the Lord has rejected, they're not going to get simple things like this. They're going to be, pretty much they're going to be, they're going to just want to do their own will and, again, not do the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So yeah, I believe that's the point. Those way brothers to the edified. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. B'Shem Makakadas Brakathum. Shalom.